Hello, my name is Cynthia Baruti and I'm a member of the Covington Women's Club, and I'm here to read a book by a friend of mine, Ginny Neal, and it's called The Glorious Forest That Fire Built. Sometimes we think of fires as being bad, and sometimes they're good. So after I read the book, maybe you can talk about if you think this fire was good or a bad fire, okay? By Ginny Neal, and she also did the illustrations. I am the forest. And the forest is not just trees and plants, but also animals and birds and all kinds of critters. I am the fire with flames whirling round. I swallow the forest. I spit out black ground. I am the meadow, buried deep down. Beneath the black ashes, I rise upward bound. I tangle in flower and fruit all around. My leaves and my shade help to heal the burned ground. I'm not here to stay. I'm a step on the way to the glorious forest that fire built. I am the seeds in the wind whirling round, spinning up, 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 and then twirling back down. I sprout where the meadow has healed the burned ground. You see the seeds floating in the air? And all the animals are starting to come back. I am the pines with trunks skyward bound. I grew from the seeds that whirled and twirled down. We call this the forest succession. What comes in first, second, third. The pines are some of the early trees that come back to the forest after it's had a burn. My limbs brush the sky with a whoosh whooshy sound and shade out the meadow that healed the black ground. I'm not here to stay. I'm a step on the way to the glorious forest that fire built. This is a fun page. If you go out and lie down under a tree and look up, you can see all the branches. You get a different perspective of what's up there. You see way up in the sky, something's flying. Looks like a bald eagle. Can you see it? I am the nuts, all polished and brown, stored and forgotten where the pine trees abound. I sprout in the shade of their sap-scented crowns and grow up, up, up as the pines tumble down. So now we have the pine trees starting to fall down and decay, and next comes the deciduous trees, or the trees that have leaves that drop to the ground in the fall. They lose their leaves. I am the forest where hardwoods abound. I grew from the nuts that were tucked all around. My leaves shade my roots, and in the fall tumble down. Bare-limbed I rest as snow coats the ground. And there's all the deciduous trees that have lost their leaves in the winter. Now the forest is coming back. First I was ashes, then meadow, then seeds, then pine trees, then round nuts, then young hardwood trees. Each of these things is a small part of me. So those are all the parts of the forest from the beginning, and it keeps growing and growing. I'm the glorious forest that fire built. But I won't stay this way, because the forest is a living thing and living things change. Pages are sticking. I'm a new clearing where sunlight is found. I formed where a storm raged and blew some trees down. I'm sunlight and nurse logs and rich dirt, and then I am the glorious forest, beginning again. The forest succession. Scientists who study the stages of forest growth call the changes that happen succession. While no two forests grow the same way, there are patterns that most forests follow. It can take 100 to 150 years to fully regrow after a forest fire, hurricane, tornado, or timber harvest. And this just shows you the succession of a forest. And it can take 100 to 150 years. So do you think this was a good burn or a bad burn? Did the forest come back? Did it come back better than ever? What changes did you notice as we went through the book? And did you notice all the animals that live in the forest too? And then the last page tells you how you can help. If you go camping with your family, make sure that you put out forest fires. Never walk away from a burning fire. Don't waste paper. You've heard that before. And help plant trees. And there's some ways that you can help a forest. So I hope you've enjoyed this book. And Ginny also made a bookmark for me, all of her illustrations, and maybe you'd like to do that as a follow-up to the glorious forest that fire built. Thank you for being good listeners.